Hi, and thank you for joining us. We are in another moment of uncertainty 7 weeks into the war with Iran. The 2-week ceasefire is set to expire tomorrow night. But if this weekend is any indication, things can change very quickly. On Friday, both President Trump and Iran struck an optimistic tone about the war, declaring the Strait of Hormuz, that key shipping lane along the Iranian coast, open to traffic. But a day later, Iran reversed course, firing on multiple ships using the waterway and effectively shutting it down again. It said the strikes were in retaliation for the ongoing U.S. naval blockade of Iranian ports. That blockade has been in effect since last week. On Sunday, the U.S. took the dramatic step of seizing an Iranian vessel that it says tried to go around the blockade. That ship is now in U.S. custody. Despite all of that, the president still believes a deal is possible, but on his terms. He took to social media again today, saying in part, quote, "I read the fake news saying that I am under pressure to make a deal. This is not true. I am under no pressure whatsoever, although it will happen relatively quickly." Vice President J.D. Vance, U.S. Envoy Steve Witkoff, and the president's son-in-law Jared Kushner are expected to be in Islamabad tomorrow for the second round of peace talks. But it's unclear if the Iranians will even show up. CBS News senior national security correspondent Charlie D'Agata spoke with Major Garrett about the status of the region.
Let's talk about the state of the Strait. That's not an easy question to answer. First of all, over the weekends, the Iranians announced that it was open. The ships were moving through it, roughly 24 on Saturday, as we understand it, then shut it down again. In fact, fast boats opened fire on 2 tankers that were headed through the Strait, and they thought they had permission to go through. So independent trackers saw a handful go through today, 5 of them. The Iranian blockade seems to be in place. And, of course, the U.S. blockade is also in place. Central Command, that's the U.S. command structure in charge of this region. They told us they're not blockading the Strait itself, but the waters south of it. And they intercepted ships that are either headed to or headed away from Iranian ports. Officials tell us they turned around maybe 24. 27, I think, is the latest number, probably updated by now, either turning them back or stopping them from heading into Iranian ports, obviously depending on which way they were headed. But there was a ship intercepted by U.S. Marines that was on the way to Iran and not away from Iran.
That was Charlie D'Agata reporting. CBS News White House reporter Olivia Rinaldi joins us now. So what happens if Iran's negotiators don't show up tomorrow?
You know, it's a really good question because we don't even know if the vice president is going to leave at this moment. Well, yesterday, President Trump on Truth Social said he was sending negotiators to the region to arrive tomorrow evening. Well, that's now, tomorrow evening. And so far, the vice president, the special envoy, and the president's son-in-law have not left, to our knowledge, to head to Pakistan. This is all coming as the ceasefire is set to expire relatively soon, perhaps tomorrow, maybe Wednesday. So there are questions right now about whether or not these talks are even going to happen at all. I do want to point out that the Iranian parliamentary speaker, Ghalibaf, who was one of the individuals who which the U.S. was negotiating with, just put on X a post that said, "We do not accept negotiations under the shadow of threats, and in the past 2 weeks we have been prepared to reveal new cards on the battlefield." So notable there, it still sounds like from the Iranian side that they're just not willing to get to the table.
All right, so more on that to come. But we also have learned that the labor secretary will be leaving the administration to take a position in the private sector. What more do we know?
Yeah, the White House confirmed this just a short while ago, that the Labor Secretary Lori Chavez-DeRemer will be leaving the administration, going to the private sector. This is extremely notable because, just to put this in context, taking a step back, this is now the 3rd administration official who has left in the last month or so. Remember, Kristi Noem left the administration after the president replaced her due to a misuse of funds after a testimony on Capitol Hill. The president also removed Attorney General Pam Bondi from her position after concerns about how she's handled some certain investigations, particularly Epstein, and investigations into some of the president's perceived enemies. Now we are hearing that the labor secretary has departed. The White House has confirmed that. They put that out. But it's coming after several reports of misuse of staff, accusations of drinking on the job, committing travel fraud while she was in office. We should note that as these reports were circulating, the White House did tell us earlier this year that she was doing a great job standing up for American workers, and the president continued to express his full support for her. But just a month or so later, since those reports came out, she is now out of that role. There is an acting labor secretary, Keith Sonderling, who will be in that role. So now we have two acting secretaries in their positions right now in this administration. So about 1 year in, 3 cabinet secretaries are out.
Olivia, Rinaldi, thank you.